find where you are now.
Oh, I know. I just had to do that too. I ended up getting off of Jitsi, and then I'm like fumbling around figuring out where the Jitsi is. Like, it took me
But
forever. Yeah, right there on the side. Just put it right down inside the messages.
yeah, yeah, I'll do it in a second as soon as I find it. But is there any other topics that we haven't covered yet in
So
this?
far, I mean, it sounds like we've covered quite a bit of it and everything. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, if anyone wants to keep researching, like literally go back to any of the things we've said, and there's a whole world in there just on the
yeah.
one thing.
Now, when you, I also too want to mention that when if you decide to check out Tony Rodriguez, just understand with his group of people, he's 1 in a million. Okay, you're not going to find people that are talking about the content that he's talking about who are as legitimate. I just want to make that point straight because there are people out there like Robot said that's charlatans, and I can honestly tell you I don't believe he is. I believe he's legitimate, or at least he believes what he says. I'm not going to say legitimate because nobody really knows anything. You know what I mean? But he
I
he
wanted to mention one of those charlatan guys. He comes to mind. What is his name now? He claimed to be like the scientist that was getting the alien bodies and doing the biomedical research on them and stuff.
mm,
And then I actually loved him for ages until it came out that he was like a crazy alcoholic, and his partner at the time, woman partner at the time, blew the whistle on him and recorded one of their conversations,
mm-hmm.
and it just yeah. Then it became very clear that he was literally just taking things from his life and calling people aliens and saying, "Oh yeah, it was blah blah blah," and it was just insane, man.
Yeah,
I'm like, how can you do that? But
there's
yeah,
they're out there. I mean, they really are. It's sad, but they are out there. So, like I said, I don't I don't I don't doubt that Tony Rodriguez doesn't believe what he says, and he's consistent. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that I heard him say
mm,
when he first said his story is pretty close to what it is now. Where other people who I've listened to, they like network with other people, and then they incorporate things into their story, which to me that that's not too that's not that doesn't show consistency, which is really important when it comes to debunking and stuff. So
mm.
I
And I
like
like taking these new whistleblowers and lining them up with the old school whistleblowers like Bill Cooper and Schneider and people like that, and see if that kind of stuff matches up.
yeah. This is a part of history that I've talked about before where you've got the deep, dark, ugly part of history that nobody wants to talk about. And today I'm going to bring it up because it's an issue that I'm having. I'm actually having to stop doing my history because I wanted to go in and I wanted to discuss the Canaanites. And the Canaanites have been accused of sacrificing their babies to Baal, which I brought it up as with archaeologists, there's been no evidence finding any kind of sacrifices to Baal from the Phoenicians and the Canaanites. This is all stuff that was mentioned during or within holy scriptures like the Old Testament of the Bible and stuff like that. Now, that caused an issue on my history channel, and I wanted to make it clear why this is happening. Now, see, when this all started out, what it was about was the Greeks were using this kind of hate against the Phoenicians. So they ended up saying that the Phoenicians sacrificed their babies. After that, the freaking Jewish people started saying that the Canaanites were sacrificing their babies to their gods. So you go from the Greeks to the Jewish people that are doing it. Now, lo and behold, later on, the Christians, of all people, start accusing the Jews of sacrificing their babies to their gods, or to the devil, actually. So you get this story, this propaganda that's been propagated for thousands of years, passed on from one generation to the other. And mind you, when I say Christians, I'm saying the early Catholic Church, okay? The early Catholic Church used that same tactic with witch burners, okay? They were burning witches on the stake and using this same kind of tactic. Now, it escalated to the point where eventually we had World War II and Jewish people were being put to death in gas chambers and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up and make it a topic. So, hold on a minute. Yeah, so let me go ahead and get it started here and get things set up and ready to go. Alright, I've got some stuff to straighten out here. Alright, so let's see here. And like I said, if anybody has any problem with this, they can come on in and say they're two pieces. So this started out in the Middle Ages when it came to this anti-Semitic stuff. There's continuous hostility to Judaism from the late Roman period into the medieval times. During the Middle Ages in Europe, there was a full-scale persecution of Jews in many places with blood libels. Okay, blood libel or ritual murder libel is an anti-Semitic canard which falsely accused Jews of murdering Christians in order to use their blood in the performance of religious rituals, echoing very old myths of secret cultic practices in many prehistoric societies. That's what I was talking about with the Canaanites, and that's what I was talking about with the Phoenicians. They passed it on to the next generation. Now all of a sudden the Catholic Church is persecuting the Jews the same way the Jews persecuted the Canaanites and the Greeks persecuted the Phoenicians. Forced conversions and killings. In the 12th century, there were Christians who believed that some, or possibly all, of the Jews possessed magical powers and had gained these powers from making a pact with the devil. Judensa, or however it's spelled. Let me get back on this so that I'll just read the little bit. Judensa is a folk art image of Jews in obscene contact with a large sow, which in Judaism is an unclean animal that appeared during the 13th century in Germany and one other European countries. Okay, its popularity lasted for over 600 years. Now, although the Catholicized Visigoth kingdom in Spain issued a series of anti-Jewish edicts already in the 7th century, persecution of Jews in Europe reached a climax during the Crusades. Anti-Jewish rhetoric such as the God of Love. Eckhart was a Benedictine abbot of Sconu, a writer and a brother of the mystic Elizabeth of Shonu, whose wife he recorded. The God of Love. Anti-Jewish rhetoric such as the God of Love began to appear and affect public consciousness. At the time of the First Crusade in 1096, a German crusade destroyed flourishing Jewish communities in the Rhine and Danube. In the Second Crusade in 1147, the Jews in France were the victims of frequent killings and atrocities. Following the coronation of Richard the Lionheart in 1189, Jews were attacked in London when King Richard left to join the Third Crusade in 1190. Anti-Jewish riots broke out again in York and throughout Europe, or England, in the first large-scale persecution in Germany after the First Crusade. 100,000 Jews were killed by Rottenfleisch Knights and Rindfleisch or Rindfleisch movement was a series of massacres against Jews in 1298. The event, in later terminology a pogrom, was the first large-scale persecution in Germany since the First Crusade, and that was in 1928. The Jews were also subject to attacks during the Shepherd's Crusade of 1251, and the Shepherd Crusade of 1251 was a popular crusade in northern France aimed at rescuing King Louis IV during the Seventh Crusade, and that was in 1320. In the 1330s, Jews were assaulted by the Armleiter. The Armleiter persecutions were a series of massacres against Jews in Franconia and Alsace in 1936 and 1336 to 1339, led by Arnold von Essenheim. Arnold III von Essenheim also blessed Arnold und König Armleder circa 1298 to 1336, was a medieval German highwayman, bandit, and renegade knight of the Usenheim family of the village Usenheim of the same name.